Hey everybody, it's Joric. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for doing so. If you're returning, I greatly appreciate it. If you're new, please subscribe to learn how to move to and live in Portugal, as well as European travel news. Those are the two things that I do on this channel. Today I want to talk about Portugal, and I want to talk about how to apply for a permanent resident card here in Portugal. So there's some steps to be able to do that. I'm going to go through each one of those steps for you so you know how to do it. I want to make sure and clarify this is not a video about temporary residency or the initial resident card that you get when you move here. This is for when you've been here a while and you're now eligible to apply for the permanent residency, what you need to do and what the steps are. So first things first, you have to be here a while. You have to be a temporary resident and have that temporary resident card for 5 years. Once you've had that for 5 years, you're eligible to apply for permanent residency. So the first step is really to be here, what they say, temporarily, but over 5 years. The next thing is you need 2 passport photos. They need to be identical photos, the same shot. There are numerous places throughout Portugal, both on the mainland, the Azores, and Madeira, where you can get passport photos taken so that you have those. You will need those. Sometimes it depends on what branch you're going to go through the application process, but make sure that you have both of those with you. They're pretty easy to be able to get just about anywhere in Portugal. You'll be able to buy these and get them taken for you. The next thing is passport or a certified copy of that passport. Many countries, it may be called different things. In the United States, it's called an apostille. But if you most likely are here, you're going to have your passport available. So you'll need to have the passport or a certified copy or apostille certified document, depending on the country. They may call it different things. You'll need to have that available for the representative to be able to go through the application process. The next thing is a bank statement. In this bank statement, you need to show that you have the financial wherewithal, to make a long story short, to not use the Portuguese system. So I think the way it reads is that you have enough financial resources and stability to where you wouldn't need to use the Portugal welfare system. So pretty straightforward and pretty common sense there. So you'll need to produce a bank statement or bank statements. It might need to be a series of statements or investment statements, whatever you have in your finances to show that you're capable of being here on a permanent resident basis without needing the Portugal government's welfare system to do so. So that's the next step. Beyond that is you need a proof of accommodation. That can be everything from a mortgage statement, that can be a rental agreement. You're probably going to be, if you've been here 5 or more years, you're going to be in one of those two situations. You either purchased a property, so you might have a mortgage, or if you've purchased it outright, maybe you didn't need a mortgage, and you at least have a tax statement from Portugal showing that you own the property and you're paying taxes on the property. Or you might have a rental agreement. Many people here rent as opposed to buy, and they're in a series of 1-year rental agreements. Some people continue at the same place. Some people move around every year, but you need to show that document again to the representative as you're applying for this process. Next is a criminal background check. And it's my understanding in looking at the documentation that you need 2 of them. You need one from your home country. So depending on where you're from, the home agency, the FBI, CIA, MI6, MI5, Interpol, whatever that is in the country, you need to get a background check from them. Even if you haven't lived there, you still, in 5 years, you still need that. And then you also need to obtain one from here in Portugal to make sure that you're on the up and up. And any issues or anything that may show up as an issue criminally is below the radar to where it doesn't impact your permanent residency. Hopefully everyone watching this has a clean record and there's no issues to talk about, but it does come up from time to time, either as something that happened in your home country comes back to haunt you, or you might have done something here, however trivial, may impact that permanent residency application. So it is important to know that. Next, you need to show and provide documentation that you're up to date on your taxes, as well as contributions to Social Security. So if you're here, if you have a property, many of you have businesses too, that you need to make sure that you are up to date on what you owe Portugal, and you don't want to be lagging behind because that may impact your permanent residency application. So again, if you're at this phase or ready to apply, make sure that you're good on your taxes and everything's up to date on Social Security, any type of contributions that you owe the government in any way. That's very important. And then lastly, and this one is many times the most difficult. Everyone has the first several things covered. Language. You have to be able to be competent in the Portuguese language, at least at an A2 level or higher. So I'm going to give you a list based upon what the outline says. There are several different bodies or governing bodies that says, based upon this body, you need to have this proficiency, or based upon that body. So there's a number of places that you can go. There are numerous places that you can go to show that you can read, write, and speak basic Portuguese to where you can get by and be able to live here permanently. I would make a guess, it's an educated guess, that if you're going to be here 5 years or more and you're pursuing permanent residency, you've probably made the effort just through osmosis and diffusion. You've probably learned enough Portuguese that you could pass the test. Now, maybe not the ins and outs of some of the structures and some of the grammar. Those are things that there are, I will say, hundreds of tutors, it seems like, all over Portugal. Several schools that offer online classes or evening classes. There's also some international providers that help you learn European Portuguese, which is the traditional Portuguese, not Brazilian Portuguese. That is the biggest stumbling block. When people are ready to apply or people are thinking about permanent residency here in Portugal, that is I think the biggest reason why people choose not to. But if it just takes a little bit of effort and some memorization, reading some children's books, going through some very basic, almost like grade 1, 2, 3 grammar and writing and speaking, that you can get this A2 level or above and be fine and have no issues. The worst thing you want to have happen is all these other steps are easy, and then this one, it's hard, but it's on you to make sure that you know the language. It is something that we're continuing to work on, because if we plan on staying and applying for permanent residency, we're going to need to show at least an A2 level and above. So we're going to be going through courses to make sure that we know well above that, so to not get caught if we are taking any type of test or have to prove our Portuguese acumen. We want to make sure that we are well past that A2 level, so that we pass with flying colors and we can get our permanent residency if we choose to stay here. I hope this answers some of the questions that you had out there on applying for permanent residency. This is the how-to. If there's any changes in the coming years, I'll make an updated video and go through them. As always, thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your travels.